Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Sauce. As you probably have already gathered from the Panthers video I uploaded, I'm doing each team, all 32 teams, going through the entire schedule, picking wins and losses, and then giving some future bets. Let's go.
Welcome to The Sauce. The Sauce. Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
All right, well, let's dive right in. Two major notes from the Bucs offseason. Tom Brady definitely not retiring now. Flip-flopped a little bit there, and the Bucs made a huge signing, Akeem Hicks, on the defensive line. Obviously, there's plenty more offseason notes, but that's not what we're doing in this video. We're getting into the schedule. All right, week one, they traveled to Dallas to play the Cowboys, and I'm sorry, Cowboys fans. I'm one of them. I'm a Cowboys fan, but especially week one, the Bucs are going to look great. This team already knows how to play together. That defense was the top 10 run defense last year. Now they add Akeem Hicks. Dallas definitely got worse from last year. They lost 8 starters due to their horrible management of the salary cap. So let's give the Bucs a win here. 1-0. Let's move on. All right, moving on to week 2. They're at New Orleans, and hear me out. I'm chalking this one up as a loss for the Bucs, and it's not because I'm huge on the Saints. I actually don't even like this Saints team that much. I just think it's a perfect matchup. What is Tampa Bay's biggest weakness? It's got to be corner. They can defend the middle of the field pretty well. They have trouble on the sidelines. What is the Saints' biggest strength? Wide receiver depth. Do you know the Saints wide receiver number 4 this year is Marquez Callaway? Just a great matchup for New Orleans. Tampa Bay moves to 1-1. Week 3, big NFC game here, home against the Green Bay Packers. Tampa looks great in this game. Their defense takes away the run and becomes a battle of game managers, Brady versus Rodgers. In the end, Tampa Bay just has more playmakers on offense, and I like that they're at home. Giving the Bucs the win here, Tampa Bay moves to 2-1. Week 4, home Sunday night football game against the Chiefs. Now, I'm not huge on the Chiefs this year. Obviously, they still have Mahomes, Travis Kelce, picked up Juju Smith-Schuster. They lost Tyreek Hill. But with Hardman and all those guys, I think the offense is going to be fine. What about the defense, though? If you remember, after 7 weeks last year, the Chiefs are just 3-4, and we're on pace to put up the worst defensive season in NFL history. Not one of the worst, the absolute worst in history. Then what happened? The Chiefs signed Melvin Ingram off free agency, and they turned things around. And actually, the Chiefs' defense in the second half of the year looked pretty solid. But now, Melvin Ingram is gone. So is the Honey Badger Tyrann Mathieu. Yeah, they signed Justin Reed. He's not nearly as good as Mathieu. I'm giving this win to Tampa, man. I think they win this one pretty comfortably. I think the Chiefs' defense is definitely going to be bad, and it's going to take a few weeks for them to really find themselves. Move the Bucs to 3-1. Week 5, home game against the Atlanta Falcons. Don't even need to break this one down. That's an easy win. Move the Bucs to 4-1. Next up, week 6 at Pittsburgh. Now, I do think the Steelers could potentially give the Bucs some problems here in Pittsburgh, but when it comes to this week, I probably will bet Pittsburgh plus 9.5 or whatever the number is, but I can't give them the win here. As far as just picking a winner straight up, Tampa Bay wins, moving to 5-1. Week 7 at Carolina. Now, if you watch my Panthers video, you know I already gave the Bucs the win here. I do like the way the Panthers match up against Tampa Bay, but you got the Bucs coming off back-to-back really easy games. They're going to be in cruise control at this point. I'm moving Tampa to 6-1. Next up, week 8, Thursday night football. Bucs are home against the Ravens. Now, I love Baltimore this year. I think they're going to win a ton of football games, but this is an awful spot for them. You got Baltimore coming off a big division game on Sunday, right? They play the Cleveland Browns. Then they got to travel with just 3 days off. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that's it. They got to travel down to Tampa Bay to play one of the best run defenses in the NFL. Like I said, I love Baltimore this year. I just hate this spot. Let's move the Bucs to 7-1. Week 9, I have the Bucs winning 6 straight at this point. They're up to 7-1, but week 9 is where that winning streak ends. The Los Angeles Rams, the Super Bowl champions, come to town. Way too much talent on the outside for Tampa Bay. I don't even care that the Bucs have 3 extra days off because they just coming off a Thursday night game. I don't even care that they're at home. I love this Rams team. I love the way they match up with the Bucs. Rams win this one here. Tampa Bay moves to 7-2. Next week, week 10 is a 9:30 a.m. game in Germany against the Seahawks. Obviously, the Seahawks are going to struggle this year, so we have to give Tampa Bay the win, I guess. But don't be surprised if the Bucs look completely out of character. They're on a different continent, playing at 9:30 in the morning. I mean, we'll give the Bucs the win, move them to 8-2, but I wouldn't put the house on that. Week 11 is a bye for Tampa Bay, so let's cruise right on to week 12 at Cleveland. Now, Normally, I'd be like, yo, this is a tough matchup for Tampa Bay, but week 12, who's even going to be playing quarterback for the Cleveland Browns? Honestly, it's looking more and more like Deshaun Watson is probably going to be suspended for at least a year, maybe more. I mean, that's looking bad. Baker Mayfield, the city of Cleveland and Baker Mayfield have already broken up. They're like a toxic couple. They broke up. He's not going to make it 12 weeks. I think Jacoby Brissett is going to start in this game for the Browns. We know Cleveland can run the shit out of the ball. We also know when they're healthy, they can also stop the run very efficiently. So I like this Browns team. I like the way they match up with the Bucs. But without a quarterback, we got to give the win to Tampa here. Bucs move to 9-2. Next up, week 13, their second game against the Saints. And this is where Tampa gets their revenge from that week 2 loss. Maybe it's a couple of Jameis Winston turnovers. Maybe it's a lack of the Saints running game. Who knows how it's going to happen? I just know the Saints are going to sweep Tom Brady and the Bucs. Bucs win and move on to 10-2. Next up is week 14, and this is a terrible spot for Tampa Bay. They're coming off a Monday Night Football game against their toughest division opponent, the Saints. They travel all the way across the country to San Francisco on a short week to play the 49ers, who are always good in the second half of the year. San Francisco wins this game at home. Let's move the Bucs to 10-3 on the season. Next up, week 15, they're home against the Bengals, and I actually like this matchup for Cincinnati. I like how do you beat the Bucs? You attack the sidelines. They're weak at corner. They're not that deep at corner. Bengals have a ton of weapons on the outside. Cincinnati wins this one, and the Bucs lose back-to-back games for the first time in the season. Let's drop Tampa Bay to 10-4. The following week, they're at Arizona on Sunday Night Football. Now, I know you got Tom Brady on the road in a primetime game, a night game, all recipe for a bad spot for Tampa Bay, right? But if there's one thing we can count on, the Arizona Cardinals will collapse in the second half of the season. So I'm going to give this win to Tampa Bay, move them to 11-4. Next up, week 17, home against the Panthers. Now, at this point, I expect the Panthers, if you watch that video, I expect the Panthers to be 7-9 or 6-10, mathematically eliminated. Meanwhile, the Bucs are still going to be battling for playoff seeding. So although it pains me to give Tampa Bay the sweep over Carolina because I like Matt Rule and the Panthers, but I'm not seeing it here. This is a loss for the Panthers. So let's move the Bucs to 12-4 after that win and head into the final week of the season. Now, week 18 at Atlanta. Hear me out. I think that the Bucs are going to be resting a ton of starters here. There's a lot of veterans on the Bucs. So if there's not a ton to play for, I can see a ton of them resting. Falcons are a young, feisty team. They're still going to be playing hard in week 18. I'm going to chalk this up as a Bucs loss, man. Move them to 12-5. So the Bucs finish the season, in my eyes, at 12-5. Good news, you can get the Bucs win total over 11.5 at plus money or an even plus 100. So that is the bet. Bucs over 11.5 wins, plus 100. Remember, on September 1st, I'm going to be dropping all my win-loss totals for all NFL teams. Some of these may change. Who knows what's going to happen in training camp? But on September 1st, I'm going to drop them all along with my top 5 future bets. Also, make sure you follow me on social media. I'm always giving out free picks and talking shit on there. I can be entertaining at times, probably annoying at times as well. So check that out.